Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Bianca and this is my makeup and astrology channel where I just do my makeup and talk about the different aspects of astrology. So yeah, we're gonna get started into this video right away. I don't think there's anything I wanted to say. Oh, lies. Follow my Instagram and Twitter. They'll be up somewhere on the screen. Couple things I wanted to talk about. By the time that I'm recording this video, my first video is already live on my channel. Go check it out. It's about elements and modalities. Very interesting stuff. And basically my friends and family have given me little tips and pointers. So I'm going to try and incorporate that in these videos starting now. So we're gonna get into this video and we're basically just gonna continue talking about planets, about one planet in particular, Saturn. By now I'm sure that you guys have figured out how I like to start talking about these planets. We should talk about the glyph first, the glyph or the symbol. Some people call it either or. Lies. I also want to give another disclaimer. My skin looks crazy. It looks so bad. We're gonna fix it eventually, but let's get back to the video. Saturn, its glyph is the cross of matter rising through the crescent of the soul. And when you just really think about it, that's Saturn. It wants to form structure and routine on the physical plane. And that's really kind of Saturn's role in our lives. Saturn is really the planet of responsibility, authority, wisdom, karma. It represents structures and boundaries and how we react to structures and boundaries in our lives and how we react to authority figures in general. It's really our perception of authority figures. It's going to be how we respond to the structures and the rules that are placed in society. So Saturn's orbit takes like 29 years to get through all the signs. It is more so a generational planet, but it definitely plays more of a role. Like when you look at Saturn, you will definitely look at Saturn in the sign that it's in when it comes to your chart, whereas like further planets like Uranus and Neptune and Pluto, when you look at what sign it is, that those are very generational planets and you're looking more on what house they're in. But with Saturn, you can definitely look at what sign it's in. Saturn is the lord of karma. Basically, it's very fair and you're kind of gonna get what you deserve, so you better put the work in. Don't think that Saturn is going to just give. Like Jupiter, which we talked about last video, it's very a yes planet. It's a very luck planet, and it's like almost like you kind of didn't. It's not. I won't say you didn't deserve to get what you get, but it's gonna give it to you regardless of whether you deserve it or not. With Saturn, you better put that work in before you start thinking that you're gonna attract any benefits, if that makes sense. Ooh, y'all, I came back from vacation and I seem to not know how to do my makeup. These brows, that's as good as it's gonna get. So Saturn is very focused on, I guess, growing up and taking responsibility for yourself. And it kind of is about defining what you are and what you're not. Saturn, with Saturn, you're definitely going to find out what are your boundaries and what boundaries you set with other people and what boundaries like you set with yourself, I guess. No way. I thought that I was going to do eyeshadow today. I lied to myself. We'll do eyeshadow in one of these videos. I meant to start telling you guys what products I'm using. I'm a very basic person when it comes to my makeup. For my brows, I was using Anastasia Beverly. I'm just gonna say ABH because that was a tongue twister. ABH's dip brow stuff. The concealer that I'm using, I will not name because I do not want to give them free promotion. So with Saturn comes lessons, because Saturn is really a teacher. Saturn is really going to teach you about yourself. That's why I said like it really makes us figure out who we are and who we aren't. Your Saturn lessons are going to be the hardest to learn. You might find that you don't actually learn these lessons until after your 29th birthday, which would be your Saturn return. Because my Saturn is in Aries. Saturn won't be in Aries again until around the age of my 29th birthday. Around the time of my 29th birthday, if that makes sense. Because, you know, it takes 29.5 years to reach that same exact point again. Y'all, I'm telling you, I'm acting like I'm new to this. I'm acting like I'm new to this makeup as if I'm not true to this, and it's really sad. Everything is cold. Like, I'm just primer that I use, Fenty Basic. Don't fix what's not broken. So I guess like one of the biggest lessons with Saturn is to kind of learn to move past that fear of Saturn. Like move past the fear of, ooh, why does one look like that? I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I don't like that.
So the biggest lesson really to kind of learn and take from Saturn is, okay, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna try and explain it. It's to learn to move past the fear and the illusions of Saturn. So we grow up and, you know, society and authority figures, they put all these like rules and structures and forms and kind of restrict us. And it's very important to kind of learn that those rules and those guidelines and all that are kind of illusions. They're kind of illusions, but mostly you have to learn that they are made to like kind of induce fear so that we don't step out of the lines. And it's really to kind of tear that down and kind of just realize like all these rules are kind of crap. And all these rules and restrictions are very limiting. And I mean, that's what Saturn kind of is. It's a very limiting planet. Saturn definitely wants to put you in a box. But by your 29, you should really learn, like, I want to give a specific example, even though, like, we shouldn't be there yet. So I recently read the chart of someone whose Saturn is in the first house, which can kind of represent trying to limit and confine their self-expression, which was kind of forced onto them by others, which could simply be like their parents, yelling at them when they express themselves, so they learn like, oh, like being myself isn't okay. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but that could be something. Or being bullied as a kid, which for being themselves, which kind of made them want to be like something else, or anything else. That's an example of how Saturn can put limits on you. So the thing is, like, around their 29th, 30th birthday, they'll kind of realize that it's all kind of fake. Like why wouldn't you want to express yourself? Like, why wouldn't you want to be your authentic you? And they're gonna kind of, by the time like they're in their 30s, they're kind of gonna not care anymore about what other people will say, or if they're bullied for being themselves. And it's not to say like that's the mark, but they could be working on it now because they're in their 20s. They could be working on expressing themselves like right now, but it's really gonna flourish and they're really not gonna care anymore in their 30s, you know? Not to say like you're stuck until you're 29. You're never stuck, you know? But it's just a time frame, you know? I hope that kind of explained it more. Like a Saturn in a fire sign, you'll find that they kind of really question authority, and they kind of view authority as somebody trying to stamp out their identity and trying to put them in a box. And then they kind of internalize that and say like, oh, that's like, if I'm a boss and I'm an authority figure, that's how I should be. You know? So, you know, around their 30th birthday, they're going to realize that they kind of put these restraints on themselves. Like you're going to realize that you've made up these rules on your own. You've literally made these rules up out of nowhere. So that means that you can just tear them down and make new ones. I think that's kind of the lesson of Saturn, is that these rules and these structures, these things, they are very much man-made. And anything man-made can be destroyed. Ooh, I like that. That's Saturn to me. I'm not really trying to put too much makeup on because I'm already breaking out, you know. When I take this makeup off, I'm gonna look scary.
A lot of people will be scared here. A lot of people will be scared, and I'll name them.
So, like, as I've said, Saturn fears can really be traced to, like, your childhood fears. Things that authority figures did to you in your childhood kind of shaped and formed you to make these rules and structures and assumptions of how you should live life. Sorry guys, I got real distracted. I kind of forgot that I was recording at all. Oh, this is the same concealer that I don't want to talk about. But to do my foundation, I mixed this Maybelline Matte and Poreless Fit Me foundation. It's kind of light for my skin. And y'all have been seeing me mix it with this LA Girl Pro concealer that I don't even use to contour anymore. Why? Because I got Fenty bronzer. But yeah, I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. While I let this sit, wherever Saturn is placed is definitely where we kind of lack confidence. I'm really just gonna go back to this person whose Saturn is in their first house. They kind of lack confidence in their self-esteem, And it can be an unconscious thing that they don't even notice that they're doing. It's just kind of instinctual. It's a kind of a habit that they have to just make themselves smaller. I mean, Saturn is also a place of endurance, because since you're going to constantly have to tackle these issues throughout your life. You know, you're going to really have to, because these structures and these routines and these rules are literally everywhere. So it takes a lot of endurance, and it takes a lot of strength, and it takes a lot of energy to constantly fight this battle, you know? I don't know if you guys remember, but in my sun and moon video, I was talking about how the sun can represent your father or father figures in your life. Saturn is another planet that can represent father. Something that's very interesting to me is that back in the day, before, you know, they found other planets, like Saturn was the last planet that they could see. Saturn is the, is it? Let me Google it before I start telling y'all foolishness. Saturn is the last easily visible planet. For a long time, it was the last planet that people knew about. Like, people didn't know anything about Uranus and Pluto and Neptune. Nobody knew anything about those. I know Pluto is no longer considered a planet. I know that, but I grew up learning that it was. So Saturn was the last planet that was visible to the naked eye, and that literally just represents that boundary of the known to the unknown, which is what all of those other planets were. It's the edge of the known. It's literally boundaries. Like, it's literally boundaries. It's literally a limit. It's a limit to what you can see without a telescope. I just got real close and I realized that I do not like how these brows look at all.
I don't like that.
We're back with better brows. Honestly, y'all, I don't even think that I'm going to set this, because as soon as I finish these videos that I'm recording today, I'm taking this makeup off. I'm not taking pictures, I'm taking it off. So we're just gonna bronze. We're gonna, I don't know, I feel like this is illegal. And, you know, I hope Jackie Aina forgives me, you know? Continuing with what we're saying, I feel like the overall message that I want you to take from Saturn and what Saturn kind of represents in your chart is definitely that limits, boundaries, structures, lessons. It's definitely where it's placed in your chart, what sign it's in, what house it's in. It's definitely focusing on sticking to the status quo, focusing on your responsibilities that you have in life. And when you hit that Saturn return, honestly, I hope that after my Saturn return, my life goes better. What else do I want to wrap it up with? Ooh, where Saturn is, and kind of slow down it's the process or make the process difficult. Like Saturn in the 5th house. The 5th house, I know I'm kind of jumping, but I just want to make sure that you guys get it. And I feel like once you get towards the later planets, people don't really know that much about them or what they represent. So I feel like examples will really clarify. But the 5th house represents like creativity and children. So like with your 5th house with Saturn in the 5th house, it could definitely represent like having writer's block, or like having creative blocks, or being slow to give birth, having difficult births, the baby taking a long time to pop out. It can, like in the 7th house is like marriage and commitment. It can be in a Saturn in the 7th house can represent that you will marry somebody who's older than you, or like I'm talking about generational gap. kind of older than you. It can represent that you'll be slow to fall in love, slow to get married. Maybe you won't get married till your 40s, or maybe you don't get married to like the love of your life until you're 40, and stuff. So that's kind of what that means, like with it being slow. Okay. And I forgot to tell you guys, this is what I use to bronze with. It is the Fenty Beauty bronzer in Mocha Mommy. YouTuber, who you fucking so? Sorry. So, okay. I'm not gonna put lashes on. Do not have lash glue. I bought lash glue. Lost the cap to the lash glue in Florida. Left the lash glue in Florida. So we're without lashes. Until I stop being lazy and get more lash glue again. Let me put my gloss on. This isn't even my really juicy gloss. I don't know why I picked this one up. But I hope that you guys understand how Saturn plays a role in your chart. I hope that when I talk about it in further videos, it'll make even more sense. Really just remember, responsibility, karma, structures, boundaries, authority figures, and father. That's really it. Like that's what it is. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something. And if you want, you know, go like, comment, subscribe, and share. So without further ado, I think that's everything I wanted to say. So bye.